We connect with the very core energy of our bodies, the heat, the fire that ignites our passion and it ignites our inspiration, that which is at the core and the center of the earth, that which is above in the sun and the stars. We connect all these ways down to us from the stars above and the heavens above and the sun above to the center of our body. From the tea lights and candles that are burning, the flames around you, we connect not with the heat, but the essence, the energy, the beingness of fire, which grounds us, calms us. And the fire, the center of the earth, comes up in Gaia. And we see her warm, smiling face. And we are filled and engulfed in a beautiful warmth, an aura of great love. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
The blood that's running through our veins, the waters that connect us to the earth, water that's cleansing, cool, refreshing. We are the waters. As we gather here, all of us, each woman, her waters are flowing through her, grounding us to each other and to the earth, to the waters. Waters flowing. And as these waters through our bodies flow, we are connecting one to another, one to the other, through the water of our tears, waters of our blood. Water grounds us to the earth and to each other. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Ancestresses of this land, where every woman is, you who walk the land before us, you of our lineage, we who are the embodiment of you, greet you. We ask your permission to hold this spiritual gathering with your backing. We call you from our blood. We ask you to be here. Thank you. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Blessed be. It's not as easy, I think, for some of us, for me, to feel connected to everyone when we're not in the same room. But with our intention, we can certainly still do that. We are magical priestesses, magical beings. We can connect through all time and space. So just remind me of that. Remind us of that, Dr. Sharon, if you would.
Yes, let's all hold hands virtually. Feel the sister next to you. You can feel her pulse even though you're holding her hand. And let's just do a very brief hum to get that bee buzz all around us. Very briefly, let's just hum together. And the circle goes round and round, and it never stops. And we are together even if we are apart. Blessed be.
Oh, blessed be. Powers of the north and south and east and west, air, fire, water, and earth. You are in us. We are breathing you. Your fiery twinkle is in our eye. The warmth of our blood is in us right now. The water of our cells, 3 trillion cells filled with water and information. And earth, our bones. our teeth, our hair, her waving grasses, our little teeth, her little white pebbly stones. We are air, fire, water, and earth in this physical dimension. We cannot call you in. We cannot send you away. You're just always here, but we can acknowledge you and your power that lives in us while we are in the physical. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Air, fire, water, and earth, north, south, east, and west. You are here, you are here, you are here. Blessed be. We call upon Marcia Works to acknowledge our individual guides and guardians who are with us right now.
Guides and guardians, helpers for each woman here, our animal totems, fairies, those plant people. You are always with us, whispering, guiding, and protecting us. We are here, and because we are here, you are here, you are here, you are here. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome. And Priestess Mata, we are speaking of Goddess in her emanation as Mother Mary, as you know, but she is of 10,000 names. In whatever way comes to you, will you please acknowledge she who is everything, Goddess?
Great Goddess, she of the morning star, she of the pearls of the sea, she who breathes life upon all the earth and all life that lives upon it. Us, we humans, we call upon you to come and join us in your love, your great, great love and beauty and the flowing of your grace. You are here, you are here, you are here. Hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome. Blessed be. Welcome, sisters. It's very nice to be with you. I've really looked forward to this. And our world continues to be a very unusual place. And so today we are gathering together to acknowledge that women have been holding the world together for these thousands of millennia. And yeah, we're going through a thing right now, but we are the through line for humanity. We are the ones who have held the world together literally with our wisdom, with our knowing. And we are doing that now. We are holding the world together now. We give each other strength and we help each other remember the truth of our being. And that's what we're doing here together today. So if you have made an altar, then for today, now is your time to make an offering if you wish, or light your candle. For us all, I light our Mother Mary candle that was given to us by Andrea, and put that there. I make this offering of white roses. And if you're new and you don't exactly know how to do that, just go out and cut with permission, ask the plant for permission, and cut some herbs or leaves or flowers from your garden and put them together in a little nosegay, I think was an old-fashioned term, a little tiny bouquet, and wrap it with ribbon. And that can be your offering, among many other things, of course. So take a moment. If you did not make an altar, don't worry, that's no big deal. This is the altar that we have for you, Mother Mary, Nana offering her sustenance, great ancient mother, the mother of the Buddhas. I want to say thank you to all of our priestesses, and particularly Mata and Marcia, helping me facilitate today. We are talking about Mother Mary as an emanation of Goddess, and how a simple daily spiritual practice can help set the soil for manifestation in our lives. And of course, women have many different spiritual practices, but I'd love for a few of us to share just briefly in a couple of sentences one daily spiritual practice that you might have. It might be something very simple like bathing, because I make my bathing a spiritual practice. So people don't think of that as being a spiritual practice, but you can turn it certainly into one of a cleansing of the body, mind, spirit, and heart. And so, Mata, do you have a daily spiritual practice that you would like to share with the group?
I would say that if I were to speak of one in particular, and I say this because many of us have altars, or one personal altar or a main altar in our house, or many altars. I have many altars, but I have a personal altar that I always light a candle on. And what I've heard from some women is that they don't always light a candle every day. And they may not even light a candle in a month. I don't know how long. It's some people. I'm not saying that's everybody, but just to consider that when you light that candle on your altar, you're firing up some good juju and magic there. And it's an extension of your spirituality, of your purpose, your mission, who you are, and what you want what's going on in your life, and what you want to unfold in your life. So I would say one spiritual practice would be definitely lighting at least one candle on a personal altar or an altar.
Oh, wonderful. And candles just seem instantly spiritual to me. They just really do.
I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, and that is a spiritual practice for me because it allows me time to do my spiritual work. And one of the things that I do is I greet my tree.
Oh, yes, wonderful. You greet your tree.
Yes.
Have you named your tree?
No, her name is She. Her name is She.
Lovely. Dr. Sharon, do you have a spiritual practice that you'd like to share?
I do, and here she is. This is a 2-pound stone from Topanga, where I was able to live for nearly 50 years, from near the home that I built with my hands. And I keep it close always. And at all rituals, I hold it at my heart. And virtually nobody can see me doing that. But I touch her. I hold her in the morning and I hold her at night. And it connects me with the divine feminine.
Sometimes things are so personal that you really don't want to share it and just say, oh, not today. And we'll move on to the next woman. But Arissa, do you have a spiritual practice that you'd like to share with the women?
Similar to Mata, I light a candle every day, usually in the mornings and also in the evenings before bed.
Oh,
yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Okay, Charlotte,
Hello.
Hello.
I am just preparing some gorgeous flowers here in my kitchen.
Oh.
Yes. So one of my spiritual practices is honoring animals. I spend a lot of time outdoors, and I'm going to share the most unique or different practice of what I call public displays of reverence, PDRs. Anyone who I come across who is dead, which I meet beings who crossed over dead bodies a lot, whether it be an insect. Recently, I've been encountering a lot of bees, which I think is a sign, a symbol. And so I always like to stop and acknowledge and honor, connect with their soul, send them good energy. And or if it's someone who just looks like they're struggling, like sometimes a biker will have run over a bug, but it looks like they're going to make it, I move them off the trail. Or they're transitioning, and I just invite their soul, if they feel called, to go ahead and leave the suffering behind. And I don't know what you're seeing, but I just kind of hold my hands over them and invite them to leave their body if that's the right time for them. Or if I'm in the grocery store and going by all the flesh, I just always just send prayers to those animals.
Thank you for sharing that.
I open up the curtains and I greet my palm trees and the sky and the birds. I greet the day outside my window, and then I go outside to my front yard and I greet my home. I greet all my flowers and I talk to them, I acknowledge them, often touch them, and just kind of sit with them for a while.
Dr. Myluna, I must share with everybody that I had the great pleasure of meeting with Dr. Myluna in Cambria recently, and we did ritual and we had a most marvelous time. What a fantastic woman she is. Dr. Myluna, can you share maybe one spiritual practice of the many I know you have?
Thank you, Ava. The prayers would be the most important, and learning as I did at the Goddess Temple, the 4 aspects, directions. Then I call in the Ohlone peoples, the native ones here in Mountain View. We have Grandmother Redwood, a huge tree in the front, all the ascended masters, etc. So I begin with toning using the holy water and then the sacred prayers.
How beautiful. Thank you. Elle, welcome, sister. It's so nice to see you.
One of my very favorite spiritual practices is called kirtan, and it's part of the tradition of yoga called bhakti yoga, and it's singing the Sanskrit prayers, and you can of course sing to Ma, which is my favorite. So and that's how I connect so quickly, just immediately, tears, singing those Sanskrit mantras. And then the other new spiritual practice that I'm doing is using the devas, the green devas medicine in flower essences. So I just do a couple drops on my tongue every day for 4 times a day, to use the plant's medicine for whatever I'm, wanting to ask their medicine for. So that's new, using flower essences. So, and that's from the fairies, of course. So Mata would know all about.
I have to be careful with candles because the cats want to, so, and I'm very earthy. So for me, connecting with nature is my main way of spiritual practice as far as like changing my physical feelings. So I try to get out and get a little sunlight, talk to the bees in my garden. Every night I go out and look at the stars, and I just feel the connection with nature and with the vastness of Goddess,
Right.
How she is in everything, how she has created this beautiful earth, us and our animals. So that's my spiritual practice, is really connecting with nature and with all my animals. I have to say, petting my kitties is spiritual practice too. Bless it.
Absolutely. And when they start to purr, it is a blessing, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's purring on my heart right now. It's been so healing. Being with you all right now is just feeding my soul so much. Thank you.
Keep a glass of water near my bed, and so in the morning I hold it and bless it, and I'm grateful and drink that. The other thing that's important to me is, years ago, Ava, you did a daily empowerment, and it has everything in it: the elements, the goddess, my goals, and what I'm focusing on, my life purpose. You covered everything. And so I plug in my personal things that I'm working on, and it really sets the tone for my day. I'm so grateful to the teachings. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. If anybody would like that booklet recently, and I do send it out free, but you must ask for it specifically, and then I will mail it to you if you would like to see that. Thank you for the endorsement, Patricia.
Every morning I get up, and whenever I go to bed, every evening, I connect. And it's an interconnection for me. Most people, I think, would consider a meditation. Sometimes it's a mantra that I chant. Sometimes it's just a thought or a prayer. Sometimes it's running the energy or reaching out. Many times I know when I'm in my sleep, I'm working with others doing healing, but it's my rising up and my going down. She's always in my thoughts.
Yes,
and
yes.
mind and prayers.
Blessed be. It was very important to me to have a time for us to share what we do spiritually and to keep ourselves grounded, because that is the topic for our brief sharing today. But before we get into that, I wanted to share with you all that next year we are setting our next year's liturgy right now. And so this is the time to begin to think about what you might like to share with this circle. If you have expertise in a particular area of women's spirituality, and we know so many of you do, please consider presenting on a Sunday service by Zoom, at least for the foreseeable future, until we can gather physically again. Of course, we're going to ask our Naiad and Melissa priestesses to take a Sunday to share their wisdom. But we also want to hear from our wise women of our circle, like Sandy Limina, Melissa priestesses, Marsha Lang, VAJRA, one of our favorite presenters. Dr. Mailuna has long been a favorite presenter. So many more. Those of you who have been members for a long time, you are obviously our wise women. So please think of something that you might like to present. And you know, we go with the seasons. Spring would be about growth and coming forward, and summer would be about fruiting and, you know, pregnancy and not of a human child necessarily, but just gestating something and giving birth to something. And fall is about harvest and gathering in, and the queen archetype, and winter is about slowing down and going into the dark time, wise woman time. Keep your suggestions when you email me a suggestion. If there's something you'd like to speak on, think about how it matches with the season, and we'll put you in a Sunday that matches up with that season. This is a circle that celebrates the wisdom of women, and so many of you are so brilliant and have so much to share. We need to hear it. We really need to hear it. So we will be bringing back, by popular demand, we will be bringing back the hard copy prayers. We did a survey 3 weeks ago, and a goodly number of you responded. We sent it out to members. There were a lot of people who said, hey, why didn't I get a survey? Well, you got the results of the survey, but your opinion was not sought, because this was just for members only to share their opinion. And you members did. Pretty much everybody said, bring back the prayers. And these were hard copy prayers that we had a beautiful picture and then a beautiful prayer also tied to the seasons. And we sent those out every month for years. And it was a big effort to send a mailing out every month. But, you know, as we got busier with the physical space, it got harder and harder to do that. But you know what? We're committed to continuing our strong relationship with you, even though we can't meet physically. So we're going to bring those prayers back, and you'll be getting those starting in January. Today's Sunday service is focused on Mother Mary, Mother of Jesus. Mary is obviously important in both Christianity and Islam. They both consider her the mother of Jesus. So a lot has been written about Mary and spoken about her. And I know many of you here in this circle today know a great deal about Mary, probably more than I do. But we often don't hear the deeper truth, the truth about a woman as birther and as manifester. So today, let's talk a little bit about Mother Mary, because Christmas is coming up. And so this is the time that we celebrate Mother Mary as an emanation of Goddess. And we'll talk today a little bit about how Mother Mary can inspire us women today to birth something amazing, and what she can teach us, what her life can teach us about preparing ourselves to create something incredible and new and beyond ordinary. Mary is often spoken of as this pure but empty vessel, this sort of blank slate that God chose because she was a good girl. And let's remember that that's what men decided to write about her. But she wasn't just a good, obedient, beautiful, chaste, virginal young girl. She was an advanced spiritual being, trained by an advanced spiritual being, her mother, Anne. The story that she was a pure but empty vessel was and is, as we know, a story told by men to teach women a very particular lie, that the woman is just the receptacle, the empty vessel for man's power of life. And this is, as we know, an incredible patriarchal reversal. It is not the male who gives life. He can contribute, but as we see in some species, males are not even required for life to continue. It is the female who has the original power to conceive and gestate and birth good things into the world. According to Christian theology, Mary conceived Jesus by and through the Holy Spirit of God while she was still a virgin. But as I think most of us know by now, virgin didn't mean the same thing in ancient times that it means today. Today, it pretty much means a person who has not yet had sex. In ancient times, in different places, it could mean a few different things. It could mean simply a woman who was not married, or it could mean a young girl who had not yet had her first moon time. It could mean a woman who was whole unto herself, needing no one to complete her. In these cases, it had nothing to do with either having sex or not having had sex. So she may have been a virgin, but doubtless it did not mean what we think of it as today, not even to mention the mistranslations. So no, Mary was a young woman of great, intentional, conscious spiritual power. She had been born into a family of spiritual women. Her mother, Anne, and her mother before her were deeply spiritual women long before Jesus came on the scene. Anne, Mary's mother, is not even named in the canonical Gospels. That is how much women have been erased by average men writing stories about spirituality. Now, we've had the great teacher and author Marguerite Rigoglioso speak at the at Sunday services and teach at our temple. And she talks about this in her amazing book, Cult of the Divine Birth. Mary may, and a lot of you know about this, Mary may have come from a long line of priestesses who carried the knowledge of parthenogenesis, how to create life without male seed. And for those who doubt it, parthenogenesis is a real biological thing. Plenty of species, like the Brahminy snake and many others, still have that ability today. Where no males are present, the female clones herself and makes a perfect reproduction of herself. And she births that, her daughter, a fully functioning female to carry on life. Western Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches both claim Mary as a parthenos, meaning ever virgin. And Thomas Aquinas said that reason could not prove this, but that it must be accepted because it was fitting, for as Jesus was the only begotten Son of God, so he should also be the only begotten Son of Mary, as a second and purely human conception would disrespect the sacred state of her holy womb, so he said. So the early Christian church fathers had this very woman-dominating, misogynist, patriarchal idea that a woman who had sex was now dirty and defiled. But the idea of Mary not having sexual relations with Joseph was actually not even a thing, really, in Christianity until about the 2nd century. The idea of Mary's perpetual virginity, as it was called, first appears in a late 2nd century text called, some of you are familiar with it, the Gospel of James, which later became kind of the ultimate source of all later Marian doctrine. So in this story, Mary remains a lifelong virgin. Joseph is this old guy who marries her, and he has no physical desire, so they don't have any relations. And the brothers of Jesus, you might be wondering, you know, how they happened. Well, they were explained away in this story as Joseph's sons by an earlier marriage. So the birth of Jesus takes place in a cave near Bethlehem, starting to sound familiar. And the newborn Jesus in this version of the story doesn't actually even come from Mary's body. He simply appears as a baby from this blinding light in the clouds and comes down, she holds him, and then he takes her breast. Here's a part of the story that a lot of people don't know. In this story, 2 midwives are present outside the cave. And isn't it interesting how these midwives are erased in other more well-known stories of the birth of Jesus? Sure, we hear all about the wise men, the 3 wise men, but you know, until I started researching this years ago, I never heard of any midwives being present at the birth of Jesus, but the story says they were. But anyway, one midwife was a believer. This still ends up being a very male-dominated, patriarchal, weird story. One midwife is a believer, and she believes that this baby is sacred and special. But the other midwife, oddly enough named Salome, does not believe. And so the way the men have written this, she demands to check Mary out as to her virginity. She says, and let's remember, this probably, I doubt that this could have happened. I doubt that any woman would have done this. It seems very unlikely to me. Let's remember, we're not telling a true story of what happened. We're telling a story made up by men. We're repeating a story made up by men to condition the minds of the people of the time to believe what they wanted them to believe. So in this version of the story, Salome is said to have said, "Unless I put my finger in and test her condition, I will not believe that a virgin has brought forth a child." The story goes, Salome sticks her finger up Mary's vagina, and what happens? According to this story written by men, her hand bursts into flames and then withers. And you know, when I read that, all I can think of is men saying, "Well, that'll teach you women not to believe, you know, us men and our male God." So Salome is said to have cried out in despair, "I have tempted the living God." Yeah, don't do that. She prays to God for forgiveness, and an angel appears and tells her to touch the baby Jesus, whereupon she does, and her hand is restored, and she is forgiven for doubting the patriarchal God's powers. Once again, we have to remember that these stories were written in a time when monks and religious writers saw all sexual activity as tainted by sin, even in marriage. And this is how much the patriarchal mind hates all things of woman and the physical body and the flesh. And the words matter and material come from the same word as mother. Everything you see is mother in the physical world. Average men make up all kinds of foolishness about women and sex and spirituality, and we women just carry on doing what we do. So whether you believe Rigoglioso's parthenogenesis priestess story or not, her theory or not, it really doesn't matter for the purposes of this conversation. Mary, even as a young girl, taught by her mother Anne, knew how to birth something special, something beyond ordinary, something that had the capacity to change the world. She was taught how to prepare the ground, prepare her material body for something amazing to come through it into the material world. So think about a farmer who wants to grow something in her garden. She doesn't go out and just chuck some seeds onto the hard, dry ground and walk away. No, she knows nothing's going to grow that way. She prepares the soil properly for her intended seed. And after she plants the seed, she nurtures it, she waters it, she feeds it, she protects it from animals who would perhaps eat and pull up and eat the little shoots that are just starting. So it takes focus and attention to birth something into physical reality. If you want something magical to happen, you have to do the same thing. You must prepare your soil, and your soil is your body. To make magic, you must not just work hard, but the ground must be prepared first. And if you don't prepare the ground, your body, the seeds that you put out, the ideas that you have, the ventures you want to start, they will not likely grow into anything real. Many women, and I've been this woman, many women work very hard. They take lots of action, working long hours, writing marketing plans or whatever they do to manifest their vision. But somehow it doesn't come to pass. And why is that? I offer to you that perhaps it is because they did not prepare the ground of their bodies, which is our primary tool and channel to manifest something in the physical world. They did not tune in to the frequency needed. For those of you who are old enough to remember TVs with antenna, and anyone under 60 will probably have utterly no idea what I'm talking about. But way back, for us really old people, to get reception on your TV, you remember you had a TV antenna on top of the TV, and you had to adjust it just perfectly to get the picture. If you were just a little bit off, a little bit this way or a little bit that way, nothing, just static on the screen. But just make a tiny adjustment. Just move the antenna a little bit in the right direction and get it right on the spot, and like voila, as the teacher Sadhguru says, the whole world pours into your living room. Your movie manifests for you. You get to experience it. Another example is, think of a radio. You're tuning in and your station is that you want is at 99.9 and you're at 99.8. It's just going to be static. You're so close, but you're not on it. You over on the other side, you're at 100, still just static. You're not on it. But if you tune it in just perfectly, your desire manifests, you get what you want, what you intended comes through the radio, you hear your music perfectly, your desire manifests. So your body is your radio or your TV, your instrument for having something come through it from the unseen world into the seen world. If you want to manifest things in the seen world, if you want to birth an amazing baby, if you want to birth a great new relationship, a new company, a new client, a new house, a new lifestyle, anything, you have to tune your body to the right frequency. Having it be just a little bit off might mean your intention might never get birthed. Hatha yoga was designed thousands of years ago to do this, to tune the physical body to the right frequency, to experience the ability to connect with other dimensions. And there are obviously many other practices that can do this too. That's why it was so important to start out hearing the spiritual practices of women, because there's many different things that can help tune your body. The point is, to manifest something in this world, you must have a body that is tuned in, that's at least a little bit prepared to be a channel from the unseen dimensions to this physical world. And this does require, in the truth that I know, what I understand, this requires at least a simple daily spiritual practice. So I mentioned him a moment ago, one of the Indian teachers I follow, Sadhguru. He's an amazing being of wisdom, and some have actually compared him to Jesus. He speaks of his mother preparing for him to come into physical form, how she attracted him as a spirit with her frequency and her vibration. And he said, yes, I want to come and be born to that woman because she has what I need, the vibration I need to fully flower. And most of the gurus that you hear about, you don't really hear about their mother all that much. How many people have heard about the mother of Buddha? Let me just interrupt myself and ask you, if you would, Vajra, to share just for like 2 minutes about the mother of Buddha.
Well, the mother of Buddha, her name is Maya. And the story goes that she was, I don't remember so much her exact story, but he came out of, she had a dream and he came out of her body, from the side of her body or something. It was sort of disembodied, kind of, not through the vagina as it really does happen. So it was mythologized in a way that sanitized it, I think. But more than I have to refresh my mind about exactly what happened in that story, but more than that, I think, is the female Buddha. I find interesting is the female Buddha herself, that there are female Buddhas, and Vajrayogini is my namesake. So that the Buddha is not just a man. The Buddha is a state of consciousness of being our true self, our deepest self, that fully realized being that we are, in our essence, in our deepest self. But the myth, and I don't mean by false, but the myths of virgin births are worldwide. And it took place among the Native Americans. What is her name? Jiganonsa, I think, was one of those women who gave birth. And they did this often as a collective of 5 women who worked on it energetically to create that vibration. And then one woman would birth the avatar, the peacemaker, bring forth the high vibrational. Usually, it seems like it's usually a male, because they needed a male who could come up to that vibration that the women were already at.
Some people say that it was a male because that would have been more easily received by the people of that time with their ideas at that time. Do you hold with that?
Yeah, I think so. Plus, they'd have a certain. The women had their own work to do. They were already realized at this high vibration to be able to bring through an avatar like that. So, right. But this is a worldwide phenomenon, the virgin birth, right. The woman who conceives from her own body. So right. I highly, I believe in Marguerite Rigolosa's research is highly documented. And there's also the stories among the Native Americans of this also taking place.
Thank you. We were talking about him speaking about his mother preparing for him to come into physical form through her. And she was only 17 when she was put in an arranged marriage. But she already, before she was 17, she already had a profound spiritual practice. She had a guru, and her guru had given her a mantra to speak every day with her eyes closed. And he told her to keep it to herself and never tell anyone what that mantra was, just to repeat it every single day. And it would dramatically improve her life and carry her forward spiritually. So she did. And because she prepared her ground, the body, which was the ground in physical reality, she was able to energetically attract a spirit of a very refined vibration to come and live in the fetus, her body was developing. It would not, that being chose her because the vibration was very refined, that she had arrived at this place through her own work, her own effort. That's how you birth a God. That's one of Mary's appellations, God bearer. If you want to birth something divine, you must prepare yourself. That's how you birth something amazing. Sadhguru talks about how he would, and he's really a funny guy. He can be quite irreverent sometimes, which to me is like, that's my favorite kind of spiritual teacher, is somebody who can be completely irreverent. He talks about how he would watch his mother sit every day for a few minutes with her eyes closed, chanting this secret mantra, and she would not allow herself to be disturbed. And that's really important for us as women today, to have that boundary where our thing, we claim that our thing will not be disturbed by others. And he talks about how everyone in his family tried for years to get her to tell them the mantra, and she never did, ever. We're in winter right now in this part of the hemisphere. And winter, I think, is a great time to rest and to quietly prepare your ground, to prepare your body to birth something amazing. Say you want to start a new business. I know a lot of women who are thinking about starting their own business because things have gotten so strange in the world with regard to employment. Say you want to start a new business, and yeah, you know, you could work very hard to make your dream come true. But if your ground is not prepared, if your body is not tuned to the right frequency, then you're not going to be able to receive the inspiration of messages from the unseen world telling you what inspired action to take. And all your running around, all your activity will be nothing more than a bunch of frenetic busy work. It won't be productive, and your seeds possibly may not grow. So if you want to birth something special, anything out of the ordinary, perhaps you must, like Mother Mary and like her mother before her, Anne, you must have, like Sadhguru's mother, like the mother of the Buddha, you must have a spiritual practice to tune the frequency of your body to the larger dimensions of information and wisdom. When I was intending to birth the Goddess Temple of Orange County for the year prior to our opening, I really had to ramp up my personal spiritual practice. And even then, it almost didn't happen. And I had to increase my magic even more at the last minute. Those who knew me at that time and who came over to my house, you would enter my house, and my entire house was basically an altar to the idea of the temple. And then finally it dropped into place. But I had to focus. I won't say work hard. I had to focus intensely, because in this patriarchal world, goddess temples are not welcome by men in charge on the city council giving out business licenses. So I had a lot to overcome, but we did. In the beginning, it doesn't matter all that much what your spiritual practice is, I don't think. Just that you do it with good heart, with devotion, and that you do it very regularly every day. Whatever your spiritual practice is, whether it's hatha yoga or meditation or ritual or spiritual reading or any of the things that the women mentioned at the beginning of our circle, you have to do it. You have to commit to it. Commit your 5 minutes a day to it, whatever it is. It has to be central to your life, in that you don't let a day go by without doing it. You make it not optional. Your spiritual practice might only take a few minutes a day, but if you create it carefully, or it might come to you, you might not create it at all. It might just come to you. And it might be something very natural, like being in your garden, something you don't have to work at all. But if you do it with devotion and regularity, I believe that this can help you manifest things birth things, amazing things into this reality. Consider this as we start to wrap up. If you are focused on manifesting something in the physical world, then perhaps we would do well to engage with the elements that make up the physical world. So air, fire, water, and earth. And your spiritual practice could be something really simple. You set your intention, whatever it is that your spiritual practice is going to be about. And it can be general, it can be specific. And you might do something like this. Perhaps you create a little spot in your backyard or somewhere outside that's easy to go to. And you stand outside on the earth barefoot. That's you connecting with the element of earth. And, if it's too cold to be barefoot, maybe you hold a piece of fruit or a little bag of soil or a sacred stone that's special to you, something that represents earth. And you allow the sun to fall on your shoulders, and that's fire. And if it's nighttime, maybe you gaze at the moon. Since the light of the moon is the reflection of the sun, that's still fire. Or perhaps you become aware of the fire of distant stars coming into you, into your eyes, through your eyes. Ayurvedically, eyesight is also related to the element of fire, by the way. And perhaps you think for a moment, and this is amazing to me, perhaps you think for a moment about how the gold in the ring that you're wearing was once in a star out there, because all the gold that's on Earth was once in a distant star. And I just find that amazing. So you're literally wearing a piece of star fire on your finger if you have a gold or silver ring. Perhaps you light a candle, that's fire. And then perhaps you pour from a beautiful libation, patera, a bit of water on the earth to signify you're watering your seed, a vision into this physical reality. A patera, for those of you who may not know, it's an ancient word for like a little flat dish or bowl that you put sacred liquid in, like wine or holy water. Sometimes it has a little like a belly button or nipple or omphalos on the bottom to hold on to it. Reminds me actually of one of those holders on a cell phone, but that's what they did. They had this little kind of nipple or belly button on the an outie on the bottom to help you hold it. So that's the element of water, or maybe you drink a sip of pure water that has been sitting in a glass that has your intention written on it in gold magic marker. You get the idea. And then you breathe your intention 9 times, 9 breaths. 9 is the number of completion, all of this. So you've connected in this simple practice that would take you probably 2 minutes. You've connected with the elements of air, fire, water, and earth, the elements that you'll need to come together to help you create what you want to birth. And all the while that you're doing this, you're focused on your vision, whatever that is. For those of you who are new, if you need a little bit of help in creating your daily spiritual practice, we're here to help you. We're happy to spend some time with you. Wrapping up, I think winter is a great time for intensifying your spiritual practice, because the dark time of the year is the time not for planting, but for preparation, and quiet preparation for what is to come in the spring. Of course, you do your spiritual practice year round, but this season of dark is a perfect time for this feeling of preparing the ground. And truly, our current state of suspension socially, where we are experiencing the results of this pandemic, the lockdowns, the restrictions, I believe this is also the universe telling us, giving us her wisdom of taking a step back into less action, less frenetic running around, less busy work, and more quiet visioning and preparation and resting in your particular nourishing spiritual practice. Letting yourself relax, maybe even closing your eyes or just go soft focus. Mother Mary, Mother of Jesus, is of course just one emanation of the sacred female. And she's called in Christianity the Queen of Heaven. But we know that title was in use for millennia before Mary. Queen of Heaven was the appellation for many goddesses from many cultures, Inanna, Ashtoreth, Ishtar, Astarte, so many. So drop into your deeper self and remember that you are another emanation of the sacred female. You are the queen of heaven and earth. You have the ability to be the channel between the unseen dimensions and the seen world. And that's what Queen of Heaven and Earth means, that power to be that channel, that bridge. Our Lady is another appellation of Mother Mary, so many other sacred female emanations also. You also are the Lady. Lady means mistress of the household. You are their lady, our lady for your household. You are mistress and queen. You are the one who sets the standards for the household and all who live in it. You are the one, the lady of the house, who holds the boundaries on those who would perhaps violate the standards you have set. You are the lady, just like Mother Mary, just like every name of she of 10,000 names, just like Goddess. You are the God bearer. And what kind of being can bring forth a god? A goddess, mother of the gods, the ultimate power in the universe. Just let that kind of wash over you. Feel whatever comes to you. Relax into that. And I'm feeling that VAJRA perhaps has something to share with us on that. If you would share anything that's coming to you, VAJRA, we make this space open for you.
Let's focus and rest in the womb. And even if you've had the uterus removed, you have the womb space, the womb energy. This marvelous space, ground of creation. As a woman, we are endowed with this portal between the worlds, this sacred womb which knows how to create and manifest. And let's just give our thanks to our womb and ask that we may become more connected, more aware, and receive the wisdom that desires to arise and emanate from our womb for ourselves and for the benefit of those around us, all our relations. Divine Mother, we are you. The great power of the womb of the universe is enfolded in us, in me. And I honor that, and I open the portal to feeling and hearing and manifesting beauty and my particular gift to share and give to the world. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Oh, deep and rich. Well, we are coming to a graceful conclusion for our circle. Wanted to share with The members will have a circle for members only on New Year's Eve, December 31st, at my residence at 10 p.m. From 10 p.m. to midnight, we will have our Make It a Sacred and Powerful 2021 circle, where we'll set our individual intentions and be supported by those in circle. And we will have protocols, and we'll send those to you, to the members in mid-December. For those who need to remain at home, we will have it on Zoom. You can join by Zoom. And this is for members and will not be made public. Our next Sunday Goddess Services for All Women will be January 3rd. And we ask that you have a new broom right by your computer for that Zoom service. Our social circle after this service will begin in 2 or 3 minutes, and we will unmute everyone, and all the women can just share and talk and let it be as chaotic as it wants to be. We always find our own rhythm, and it always seems beautiful to me. So great gratitude to all of our members who continue to support this sacred space, particularly this month, Queen Donna Balch, who has been so giving and so loving. We just speak her name with gratitude. Donna Balch, I call her Queen Donna, and she is very, very dear to our hearts. And Laura Kane, who also has been very, very good to us and really is instrumental in holding this together. So as we conclude, we call upon Mata and Marcia to lead us in brief prayers for women of the world, one at a time. Mata, will you lead us in making a prayer for women of the world?
So take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out, and see before you a white dove winging its way in stasis before you, holding the space, and see your heart connect with this dove. And as your heart connects with this dove, a goddess of peace, energy, of love, of our Divine Lady. And as you send this love of peace and solidarity and wholeness unto yourself, send this energy up and up as you see this beautiful dove flying up and up through your ceilings, growing larger and larger and larger as she flies away. Up into the sun she flies. She's huge. She's almost blocking out the light of the sun as you see the sun shining through her wings, flapping almost in a staccato as she flaps her way around and around the world. Slowly, the energy of this beautiful dove, of this beautiful energy of Mother Mary, floats down upon all the women of the world as she flies. You see sprinklings, almost like snowflakes falling down, sparkles of love and energy and pureness and wholeness and confidence falling down upon all the women of the world. Let me bring this to a conclusion. It is so. Blessed be.
Yes. Mata started with the beautiful dove. The women are now visualizing as they feel this peaceful breeze, not knowing where it's coming from, but it's peaceful. And they're starting to visualize peace. They're starting to visualize their intentions. Something sparks. She looks up. She feels the breeze. She begins to smile, getting to pull her shoulders back, feeling like, I can do this. The next woman, she feels that breeze. She just stands quietly feeling her heart flutter. This prayer that we are sending out, it is being felt by women. They know that somewhere, someone is praying for them. They have no idea, but they feel our magic. They feel our intention. They feel our support. Women of the world, you are beautiful. You are a visionary. Your families are being blessed as you are being blessed. The word Messiah means leader for a cause. And you, women of the world, your families are being led by the lady, by the Messiah that is you. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Great goddess, she of 10,000 names, the pearl of the sea, the queen of heaven, the God bringer, Mary, she who is the light of life and love. We have felt you today in our hearts, falling down this beautiful warmth of love, covering our shoulders like a cloak, going down into our hearts, down into our wombs. We thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessed be.
Blessed be. And Marcia Works, will you please thank our guides and guardians?
Guides and guardians, animal totems, angels, fairies. We have enjoyed you being with us in circle here today. And as we leave, we want to say thank you for all that you've done to help us visualize and maintain our spiritual practices. As we leave from this circle, we say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Powers of the north, south, east, and west, air, fire, water, and earth. You are in us eternally, in these bodies. We are so grateful to you. We promise and commit to working with you reverently, allowing you to make magical synchronicities for us with our good intentions, our manifestations, as we birth all amazing things into the world, into this physical world. We say thank you, air, fire, water, and earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessed be. Our circle is open and never broken, and the goddess loves her women. This concludes our services for today, Sunday, December 6th, celebrating Mother Mary. We will have a 2-minute interlude of music right now where you can get a glass of water or perhaps a glass of wine, who am I to say, where you can use the restroom, wash your hands, then come back, and we will unmute and show video for everyone and let everyone who would like to share freely in the social circle, let that happen for the next few minutes. All right, sisters, blessed be, blessed be.